This morning, Texas senators are debating whether to introduce more restrictions related to abortions here in the Lone Star State.
This latest proposal would prohibit state government assistance for women seeking abortions. GMAT's Marshall Farmer is here to explain the types of assistance that would be outlawed under this law and the next steps at the state capitol. Morning, Marshall.
Good morning to both of you. Senate Bill 33 would ban people from assisting others in getting an abortion anywhere in the state. This further restricts access to the procedure, which currently bans medical facilities from doing abortions, except in the case of medical emergencies. Now, the bill defines abortion assistance in multiple ways, such as providing money to pay for an abortion, planning for or paying for accommodations to get the procedure, distributing drugs that cause an abortion, or paying for any type of logistical support throughout the process. The bill also bans government entities from using taxpayer money for logistical services to get an abortion, including child care services, travel, food and lodging, and counseling that encourages women to get the procedure. It also includes, quote, any other service that facilitates the provision of an abortion. Now, the only exception to this bill and previous statewide abortion legislation is if federal law contradicts state law, in which case federal law takes priority. During today's debates, the full Texas Senate can propose amendments to the proposed bill. We'll keep following Senate Bill 33 as it develops. Lane, Deanna.
All right, thanks, Marshall.